Once, long ago, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama lived a life of luxury in the kingdom of Kapilavastu, shielded from the harsh realities of the world. He was born into royalty and was destined to rule his father's kingdom, but his heart was filled with questions and a deep curiosity about the meaning of life. His father, King Suddhodana, tried to keep him within the palace walls, surrounding him only with beauty and pleasure to ensure he never experienced suffering. One day, however, the young prince persuaded his charioteer to take him outside the palace. During his travels, he encountered something he had never seen before, an old man, frail and wrinkled. Siddhartha was deeply struck by the sight, and when he learned that everyone eventually grows old, he felt troubled. On a second trip outside, he saw a sick man, suffering and in pain, and he realized that illness was another inevitable part of life. On a third trip, he saw a corpse, and the reality of death filled him with sorrow and confusion. Finally, on his fourth journey, Siddhartha encountered a wandering ascetic, a man who had given up worldly possessions in search of truth. This sight deeply moved him, for the ascetic seemed to have an inner peace despite having nothing. Inspired by this, Siddhartha decided to leave his royal life behind to search for answers to life's suffering. At age 29, he left his wife, his newborn son, and his royal inheritance in the middle of the night. For 6 years, he wandered the forests, practicing extreme forms of asceticism. He fasted and meditated for days, hoping to attain spiritual enlightenment. Yet, he found himself growing weaker and closer to death without finding the peace he sought. Then, one day, realizing that extreme self-denial wasn't the path, he decided to follow a middle way, a balanced path between indulgence and denial. He accepted a bowl of rice milk from a young village girl, regaining his strength. Refreshed and determined, he sat beneath a large Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, vowing not to rise until he had attained enlightenment. For days he meditated, resisting distractions and temptations, until, finally, he achieved the Great Awakening. Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, the enlightened one, having realized the Four Noble Truths, that suffering is a part of life, that desire is the cause of suffering, that ending desire can end suffering, and that following the Eightfold Path can lead to freedom from suffering. With compassion in his heart, the Buddha traveled for the rest of his life, teaching people how to live with kindness, mindfulness, and wisdom. He spoke to kings and beggars alike, sharing the message of peace, patience, and understanding, inspiring countless people on their journeys toward enlightenment. Even after thousands of years, the teachings of Lord Buddha continue to guide people in their search for inner peace and a compassionate life, reminding us that the answers lie within ourselves.